Hey guys, welcome back. This is Rakhi Jha. Today I'm going to do a resin piece with you guys, and what you see here is a solid wood board that I've taped at the back so that when it collects the drips I can just take it off. And today I'm going to do an experiment. I've been told and I've read at many places that if you use different consistency in your resin, by that I mean using different pigments to create different consistencies, then when you do a design with it or a swipe or use your heat gun, you create more lacing and cells. So I want to try that out. So what I'm going to do here is use pigments and powders of different companies and different opacities. So for example, I'm going to use a liquid pigment. This is by Epoch Resin Art pigments, and this is a translucent color. So I'm going to use one translucent color, which is a translucent blue. I'm going to use the same company's again a liquid pigment, but an opaque pigment, which is an amalfi blue. So I've got one translucent, one opaque. I'm going to use a powdered pigment. This is a pearl white. It's like a silvery pearl sort of color. And this is by another company. So I'm covering all my bases. I'm using pigments of different companies. So this is by a company called Pourfect, and I'm going to use that. And then lastly, I'm going to use alcohol ink by Pinata, and this is again a blue color. So this is going to be a blue story with some silvery pearly white. And alcohol ink is lighter, I think. So I have got a translucent, an opaque, a powder pigment, and alcohol ink that I'm going to mix in my resin. And let's see if I get different effects, if cells are easier to create, and more interest in my piece. So I'm going to cover this solid wood board. I have two handles over here that I'm going to be at the end placing it on both sides, and it can just set in the resin, so you just have to place it while the resin is wet, and then it dries with it, and you have your handles. No screws, no nothing you required. So, and one last thing is I'm going to be using a new resin that I've never used before by a company called Pourfect that also does these pigments. And this is the resin, this is the hardener. I've always used another company's called Epoch Art Resin, and I'm trying Pourfect's resin for the first time. I am no way an ambassador for their resin. I'm just a user. So this is really my own experience of it that I'm going to show you guys. So I would say, try it for yourself and see how you like it or you don't like it, and how your experience is. So what I'm excited about is that this resin is again 1:3 by weight. Just like the Epoch Art resin. And I have another video on how I mix my Epoch Art resin. You can find that video in my YouTube channel as well. And this one is mixed the same way, but what is exciting is that it is to be mixed in 1:3 ratio by weight, but only for 5 minutes. The Epoch Art resin, I had to mix that for 10 minutes, which is a long time, So this is for 5 minutes, so that's the exciting part. So I'm going to mix the two resins. In this, I'm going to use maybe about 200 grams, and I will mix those. You don't need to see that. It's just by weight. 3 parts resin, 1 part hardener, and then I'm going to keep the resin for 30 minutes without using it. I'll cover it and keep it. And because what I've also read that if you use the resin towards the end of the pot life, you can make some more interesting details and cells. So that's again another experiment for me with you guys. So I'm going to do all of that and get right back with you guys to do the pouring. See you right back. Okay guys, so I've mixed the colors. It's been about 20 minutes and it's been sitting there. This is the pearl white. This is the amalfi blue. This is the opaque colors. This is the powder pigment, opaque color. This is the translucent blue. And this, I've put about 7 to 8 drops of the alcohol blue ink. And it's still very transparent. But I'll leave it like that. And maybe I'll pour some and see if I want to make it more deeper in color. But I want to, since this is an experiment for cells and details, I want to keep it sort of thinner, on the thinner side and low in consistency and not put too much color in it. Okay, and I've saved some clear resin so that I feel that I might need a little bit of gold at the end on this. So I've saved some of that to be mixed with another powder pigment with gold. So we'll see how that goes. So let's start pouring. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give the entire piece, that's why I've mixed more of this pearl white. Usually I do the white on the top, but in this case I'm going to do the entire base as this pearl white and then do some highlights with the other colors. Let's see if that's enough. I can save some to be added, or never know how the composition goes. This is a silicone spatula that I use for spreading, and it's great because it can be used again and again. You just have to wipe it down. It's a beautiful color. And what I'm realizing with this new resin that I'm trying out by Pourfect is that I don't see that many bubbles. I think I see more bubbles with the Epoch Art epoxy resin, but there's more smell in this resin than the Epoch resin, which is nice. That if your piece, if it's not, I mean, if you have a nice ventilated space and you wear a respirator or a mask, I think you're okay. But it's nicer to have resins without smell. But this one has a smell. It becomes less as the pot life goes on. But in the beginning, when you open the bottle, there is quite an intensity of the smell. So I'll just speed this up. And resin self levels, so you just have to make sure that you get every side and corner, and it self levels. And since I'm going to be putting more layers, I just want a thin layer on the bottom. Usually I tape off the bottom of this piece, and I'm going to get the edges at the end. I like it when it spills over the edges, but I usually touch that up towards the very end. Okay, that's good enough. There we go. So let's give it a run with the blowtorch, and please wear your mask. So maybe let's try with the opaque first, or maybe I will try with the translucent first, because I've sort of two darker colors, so maybe the darkest at the bottom. All right, so let's just do a wave. So that's the translucent blue, the amalfi blue, and this one is the alcohol ink. And maybe we put a little bit of pearl on it. Okay, now before heating this up, I'm going to try a few swipes and then see if I need to heat the resin with the heat gun, and then try to make some designs. Let's try this. And then you can just wipe it off and reuse. Okay, I do see a little bit of some things happening. Cells usually come a little bit later, so let's try this again. Let's try this from this side. Let's give it a hit with the blowtorch, see if that helps. Yeah, it does help, but the cells unfortunately are very tiny. But when I zoom you guys in, you will see what's happening there. Okay. Let's keep on doing this, and then we'll hit it with the blowtorch. And I'm glad I let the resin sit for about 20 minutes. So it thickened a little bit, and then the colors stand out a bit more, otherwise everything blends. That looks good. Let's do this side. It's beautiful colors here. I think that alcohol ink also helped a bit. Okay, let's use a smaller piece. Beautiful, see, it's getting bigger. And now I'm going to use the blowtorch. So guys, I'm going to zoom you in a little bit and show you what I am seeing. I don't think you guys could see it from the top view. So let's zoom you in. So see that? So it does work. Having different consistencies and different pigments in your resin gives you all these details, and I've just started, but I wanted you to get a close-up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip the slider color, the opaque color, and I'm going to take my little plastic sheet and dip it in it and do a swipe over this. Do that again. And I'm taking the translucent blue . And I get some more details. So I've dipped this in the translucent blue. And maybe a little bit here. And then I'm going to dip it in the pearl white. So that was a translucent color, and this is a powder pigment. And then I'm going to go over this. And this is already so beautiful that I don't want to disrupt that. Go over here. One more time. And that's it. I have a lot of resin left over. I had done about 200 grams, but this didn't need that much. I thought I'd need a lot for the effects. what to do with the rest of the resins. Maybe I'll just do a little coaster. And I'm not going to disrupt this and do the gold. If I wanted to do that, I should have layered it in the beginning. So I'm not going to do that. Guys, this experiment is a huge success. And I didn't even use the heat gun to create waves. Just with swiping, I could do this. I'm sorry about the reflection on the resin, but I'm going to zoom you guys in and show you all of this that I'm seeing. All right. So now, guys, I'm going to get the ends with this darker color, I think. Or maybe I'll use the opaque color. So you just dip your hand, that's what I do, and I just get the ends, the edges of this tray. Okay, that takes care of the ends. Okay, I've decided to make this into a tray. There'll be many pieces of art coming soon. So this is sort of the design. So I'm going to place one handle right here. Cool. And one opposite to it. Right here. That looks about right. So guys, what you see here is 4 plastic cups, and I'm going to cover my piece with a canvas actually, and that's how I protect them from dust and let them set. So this is the close-up, guys. Oh my God. Go ahead, say it. It's gorgeous. Look at that. Oh my gosh. No additives, just by varying the consistency in the resin with different pigments, I've got this effect. And I like that the cells are not so big, and they're keeping their shape. They're not losing it. They're small, they're big, they're all kinds of sizes. I love it. And I love that this experiment worked. And I'm going to try another one because I have so much resin left. I'll show you how this dries and I'll make it part of this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe. See you in the next video.